This next group is for 4 years, and many times, unless they have an older brother or sister, this is their very first opportunity to go to contest, to do any of the craziness that we do. This particular year, they put together a reader's theater entitled Who Pushed Humpty Dumpty? And so, I'll double check on these kids again in a second, but Who Pushed Humpty Dumpty? And our assorted and very talented and very committed freshman group. Is our freshman group, and it's really quite a feat to be a freshman and start out. First of all, nobody ever knows that these kids are freshmen when they go on stage or when they compete, because they're not identified as such. They're competing against the kids that have been doing this for 4 years, and many times, unless they have an older brother or sister, this is their very first opportunity to go to contest, to do any of the craziness that we do. This particular year, they put together a reader's theater entitled Who Pushed Humpty Dumpty? And so, I'll double check on these kids again in a second, but Who Pushed Humpty Dumpty? And our assorted and very talented and very committed freshman group.
Did Hansel and Gretel really fall off that wall? Or was he pushed?
Officer Binky, someone is calling for a toad and a fedora.
Hello, Binky here. I'm a cop. I'm a toad. Certified detective of the MTDS, Midwest Toad Detective Squad. The name's Binky, don't forget. I solve crimes, real crimes. And the victims, you know them too. Nursery rhyme types, princesses, orphans, real good eggs.
Officer Binky, excuse me, sir, but you're needed on a case.
Goldilocks.
There are 8 million stories in the forest. This is one of them.
It was a typical Sunday morning at the Bear family. They had gone out for a walk while their porridge was cooling.
I was working the robbery detail out of the Pinecone Division when the call came in at 12:15 p.m.
Mr. Officer, Binky, cop. Oh, please, look at our house. Someone's been eating our porridge and sitting in our chairs and sleeping in our beds.
Now, Mama, give me that phone. This is man's work. Papa Bear here, Binky. Porridge has been tasted. Chairs have been broken. And
I found someone sleeping away on my bed when we came home from our walk, but I scared her off. Officer Binky, sir, what can we do?
Calm down, ma'am. I'll be right there. When I got to the lone house on the edge of Pinecone Bluff, I started to look for clues.
A strand of blonde hair, an empty porridge bowl,
A scrap of blue cloth on a broken chair, and a rumpled quilt. Binky had heard that story before.
It could only be one day. Goldilocks. I nabbed her trying to make her get away.
But I can explain! I was hungry and I was tired. I'd been up all night the night before working on my civics project. I can explain, really. My mom, she works nights and sleeps all day, and there is never enough time for her to get to the market. Our cupboards are bare, and I just wanted to sit in a nice home with a family and a flat screen TV to catch up on my stories. I can explain, really.
yeah,
Down at the station, she confessed.
I was hungry and confusion. Some are crying, some are complaining, some are blue, pink, red, and orange. You never quite know who's going to come walking in through that door. But until today, I had never seen one come riding in on a broomstick.
I know my sister's a witch, I'm a witch, and my mother was a witch. But she's still a person. Well, at least sort of. And she's been missing for over a week, so I was summoned to look for her.
Pinky,
He said to himself.
this isn't going to be your day.
I took down the information.
The sister wore black. She has a large pointed hat and several warts. She lives deep in the woods in a cottage made of candy. Oh, and she loves to cook.
That should narrow it down all right. I took the patrol car and drove out to the deep, dark woods, an old housing development on the edge of the forest. If there were witches to be found, this is where they'd be.
Let's see, deep dark woods. We'll just load the address into our GPS system.
1, 2, 3, deep dark woods, calculating, turn left on those tree road, 2 miles, turn right, Possum Hollow, 2 miles, turn left, Corkscrew Creek, 2 miles, turn right, 1 mile, turn left, calculating.
They didn't call it deep, dark woods for nothing. No one lived here now. There was just a cottage that belonged to an old woodcutter.
I knew you would come someday. Oh, Hansel, Gretel, come in here, please. We have to tell the officer exactly what happened.
I listened patiently to their sob story.
Once upon a time,
Our family had no money,
no food.
so our stepmother had an idea.
She told our father that my sister, Gretel, and I had to go.
And so we did go, deep into the woods.
Where stepmom and pop left us.
We really didn't mean to eat that house we found,
But
we
we
were
were
so
so
hungry.
They would have helped fix the roofs, they ain't honest.
But all that witch wanted was to fatten Hansel up like a pig for dinner. And when she leaned into the oven to show me how to light it, I slammed the door shut.
Gretel grabbed my hand and pulled me out of the cage, and we ran as fast as we could. But for days, until...
They found me in my cottage.
My keen powers of observation kicked into high gear. I remembered seeing some pretty plump animals roaming around nearby, and there were several signs that a few bears would be visiting the dentist soon as well.
It looked like a clear-cut case of self-defense.
Kids, just stay away from houses made of candy, or you'll be sitting in the dentist's chair right next to those bears.
Oh, that reminds me, sir. Your wife called to remind me of your appointment for a tooth cleaning.
Humpty Dumpty.
Ring, ring. Ring, ring. Ring, ring. Officer Beaky, detective in Private Toad's office here. How may I help you? The officer is hibernating right now. I mean, he's settled in for a nap. How may I help you?
Oh, get that confounded amphibian on the phone right now!
I told you I can't do that. He's hibernating.
I know what you told me and I don't care! Get that Beaky on the phone right now!
I knew that voice anywhere. It was my old friend from the forest, Harry Wolf. He had moved to the city years ago when...
Wasn't he the friend who joined all the king's horses and all the king's men?
Yeah, Humpty Dumpty's band.
Boy, could that Harry howl.
Oh! Beaky, my boy, I have some bad news. It's Humpty. He's fallen and gone to pieces. And I don't think all the king's horses and all the king's men will ever be able to put him back together.
Does this mean he'll never be able to play those drums again?
Harry Wolf wasn't someone who cried for help unless he really needed it. Elaine?
I've already packed your suitcase and booked a ticket for the next bus out of here, boss.
Thanks, doll.
Poor Humpty. He was such a good egg. Always call the boss to tell him hello on his birthday.
good to see you, Al. Good to see you, Ben. Thanks for meeting me down at the station. How are all the king's men? And how are all the king's horses and things?
I'll take you right to the scene, Bink, old friend. And I won't lie to you, it's a mess. Pieces of eggshell are everywhere.
He was right. There were shards of shell covering the sidewalk, and in the middle of it all, tidy whities I'd given Humpy for a gag gift.
It was a funny yoke, sir. Look! That's where Humpty was sitting.
I wonder.
Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall.
Humpty Dumpty had a great fall.
Or was he pushed? It's hard to tell. But one thing I noticed was that there was almost
No yoke.
on the ground.
Something seems odd here, sir.
I don't think that much yoke could go far.
Maybe you'd better walk around the neighborhood, sir.
I hadn't gone 2 blocks when I spied an omelet stand.
Omelets? Get your red hot omelets right here. Omelette to fromage, turkey bacon, turkey ham, turkey jerky, and hash browns. Get your omelets red hot.
There was a pig in the chef's hat. She was flipping eggs.
A lot of eggs, if you ask me.
Hey, Parker! Hey! Come back here!
We got up to her before she got to the station. But by then, that pig knew her bacon was cooked.
Honest, officer. I only wanted to ask Humpty to let me join his band. But he said,
Pigs don't sing!
that's when I lost my temper.
She pushed him.
Yup, Binky got that pig all right and sent her off to the pen.
What do we do now, boss?
I know, darling. We're still short one wild and crazy drummer. Case closed.
Snow White. Oh, Gloria, did you hear the news?
Why, yes, Emily. I read about it on Facebook.
I got a tweet all about it.
The Queen's coming to town!
The queen is visiting the forest. Yay. For everyone else, it might be a thrill. But for me, however, a veteran cop, it's just another day on the job.
Oh, I'll know her the minute I see her.
What color hair do you think she'll have this time?
It says right here, she's a blonde.
Take a look closely, girls. Don't you see the crown?
Does anyone know why she's coming?
The annual forest beauty pageant. She's the special guest judge.
They say I'm the fairest in all the land. So who'd better judge a beauty pageant?
Oh, I hear the pageant's gonna have all the usual contestants. Elsie the cow.
Henrietta, that pig. She almost won it last year.
Oh yeah, I remember. And that sweet girl who came from 7 Dwarfs. I can't remember her name. Snowbunny? No. Snowbunny?
Snow White.
Oh.
A real knockout. Better looking than any queen I ever saw.
She'll probably win first prize in that new refrigerator.
One thing made me wonder, though.
Why was the Queen always talking to that big mirror she carried?
Especially since she always seemed to be yelling at it.
Brought out the cop in me, and I decided to follow her.
I'm on a special summer and internship here in the forest. Commander Fogg in the city thinks old Binky here needs to take more vacation time after his breakdown of the donkey case. Hello! It looks like Officer Binky is dashing into ye old costume shop. Wait, I see something. The Queen has disappeared and there's no one in there but an old hag.
Look here, Queen. You don't look like yourself.
Of course not, Toady boy. I'm in disguise. If people know I'm the queen, they'll always ask me silly things like, do you know Cinderella and is she really as nice as she seems on TV?
What's the fruit?
Why, it's just a gift for that sweet little Snow White.
Something seems suspicious.
Something seems suspicious. But the cop and me let her go. After all, she was royalty.
The next morning, it was time for the beauty pageant, but Snow White was nowhere to be found.
This is 911. How may I direct your call?
Is this the coffee shop? Well, me and my friends have been trying to wake up Snow White for the beauty pageant, but she's asleep, and we think something terrible has happened.
One night, Jared called me to the attendant. I made my way down to the boys' cabin. Just as I got there, they were wheeling the poor girl into an ambulance.
But I got there first. Excuse me, girlie. Age and experience before beauty. Step aside. There's police business to be taken care of. Inside the house, the first thing I saw was an apple core on the bed. Drop this in a baggie and send it down to the boys at the crime lab.
Back at the pageant, nobody looked more shocked than the Queen as Snow White arrived for the Forest Beach pageant that night. Snow White, how did you make such a quick recovery? We all thought you were...
Why, my doctor was such a prince. The minute he touched me, I felt better. In fact, we're engaged!
No!
Later, the boys had left and Pinky their results.
It was the Queen, all right.
Boys eat apples.
Ugh, I should have guessed.
This whole thing is the mirror's fault, I tell you. He kept telling me I wasn't the fairest in the land. He said Snow White was. The nerve. So I had to do it. Don't you understand? I had to.
Honey, looking at you right now, I think the mirror had that one right.
Oh, snap.
Case closed.
And there you have it, folks. Crime in the forest can be taken care of as easy as 1, 2, 3. Of course, it's easy when you have an ace detective on the case.
The name's Pinky. Toad Pinky. Come on, doll face. Tonight, flies are on me.